Hello, I'm Keith Burland from Top Tier Physio. In this talk, I'm going to be covering how you should sit, how you should move, and how often. It's not going to take us very long, about 10-minute talk. Really, it's a really important thing really important topic that we're covering here. A lot of the time we have people coming into clinic saying that, they've got a bad neck or bad neck, and they say, oh, I know my posture is bad, as if that is the cause of their problem. And sometimes it can be, certainly it can contribute, but the correlation between posture and having problems is not as clear cut as you may think. When we think of posture, you think of a static position, like a photograph of a position that you're in. The reality is, when we're in postures, we are still moving. And so really a posture should be seen as a dynamic or an average position that the body may be in at any one time. So I think we should move away from the idea of it being a static, still thing, and think more about it's the positions that your body is in. And over the day, those positions will accumulate and you will end up with an average position, okay? There's more to it than thinking, if you, the classic one is if you slump, if I slump, I'm going to get a bad back, okay? The correlation isn't that clear. If you slump for too much of the time, plus some other risk factors, you may be more prone to having a back problem. But slumping in itself is not something to be feared. It's slumping for short times is actually quite good for us. When you slump, it's like, oh, it's nice and relaxed. But then we should also vary the position and just come away from that slump position as well. So slumping itself, I think, has had a really bad reputation over the last few years. But if all you do is sit and slump all day and you don't move and vary your position, well, that's not going to be very healthy either. But there's more to it than thinking, if I sit in a bad way, I'm going to end up with problems with the body. We need to think of the time that you're spending in each posture. So if I was to sit very upright, very tall, with lots of muscle tension holding me up in a very upright, still position, then for a short time, that's okay. If I slump, that's for a short time, that's okay. If I sit on one side for a short time, that's okay. So you can vary your position and you can go to extremes of position if you're there for a short time. The longer you're in a position for, so if you need to sit down for a long time, or if you're in a meeting that lasts several hours, then if it's necessary for you to stay in one position, you want to try to be roughly in the middle. So that's not extreme upright, it's not slumped, that's somewhere in the middle. And from that middle position, you can then vary a little bit either way. So you're not trying to maintain a still position, but you are trying to stay roughly in the middle. So the other factor to consider is the muscle tension. So if you are, if you're feeling very stressed, if you're working really hard and you're generating a lot of tension, the tension tends to stiffen the spine, tends to make us not want to move too much. And that tension and stiffness, that can create discomfort as well. So I think the message is, if you need to sit for a long period of time, try to be comfortable, try to sit supported and comfortable in the middle. In the middle is not extremely slumped, not very upright. It's just in the middle position. Okay, so you're maintaining that position, and also you're trying to be mindful of staying relaxed as well. In terms of a posture, I've got a background in football, and so if you can excuse this football analogy for a moment, but in terms of a team formation in football, you may think of, the manager may want the team position to be 4 players, another 4 players, and then 2 players at the top. So they're the positions that they want you to start off the game with, and that on a drawing is dots on a pitch. But actually, once the game gets going, as soon as the whistle goes, what you want your team is, roughly staying as a 4-4-2. You want that rough same shape, but you want lots of movement, lots of variation from that. And that movement and variation is what we want from our body as well. We want to be roughly in the middle, roughly in the correct position, but actually we want to be able to move away from that position as well in a regular and relaxed way. I've done some exercises on YouTube, so you could look at the Top Tier Physio YouTube channel. There's working from home for neck mobility and also back mobility. So if you suffer from particular stiffness in the neck or the back, it might be worth going across and having a look at those videos. You may find those useful. I'll show you a couple of things right now. These are more just general things to try and break up the position. There's two exercises. Two exercises I recommend. The first one I've called smile, because you're doing like a smile action with your hand. So it comes down and then across the other way. So these are great to do if you're sat at home working or possibly in the office, if you can get away with these sorts of exercises in the office. But these are good to do as a regular basis, just to break up the position of sitting. So the smile is you stand with your feet facing forwards, your hands go up to one way, and then you come down and then back up to the other way. And while you do it, you want to keep your head roughly looking straight ahead as well, because effectively when your hands are going that way, your neck is rotating. So it loosens off your neck, shoulders, and also your lower back. So really nice and free, no tension in it at all. So that's the first one. I've called that the smile. And then the second exercise is, I think this one's called the toy soldier, but you effectively step back with one leg steps back, and as you're doing that, you reach up with your arms. So it's that sort of movement that we're looking for. And this is a great one because this lengthens out the front of your hip, stretches out the front of your chest and your stomach. Because when we're sitting, we do tend to be in a flexed position for too long. So this exercise is lovely because it opens everything out. Okay, so you can try those exercises. They should feel comfortable. All right. If you're at all unsure whether they're safe and suitable for you, then don't do it until you've been checked. But generally, the advice is regular, relaxed movement. And in terms of how often, I like the 5 in 55 ratio. So for every 55 minutes that you're spending sitting, not moving, you should have 5 minutes of movement. Okay, so that's roughly 5 minutes every hour, that sort of thing. So it's very little, but very often. Okay, so really, to summarize, it's how you should sit. We're looking for a comfortable, supported, comfortable, relaxed and varied. So you want to try and change the position that you're in. So you are moving and giving your body alternative positions. And how you should move, it's in a relaxed, flowing way. So the idea of the movement is to stretch things just gently, change position, and reduce that tension that tends to gather as you're working at a desk. And how often, it's the little and often principle, but you won't go too far wrong if you think of that 5 to 55 ratio of sitting, not moving, to doing some gentle flowing movement. Okay, so fantastic. So I hope that's helped, but it's an important topic and something that could well help a lot of people. So thank you very much for listening.